started that. Oh, that's just YouTube. I did that earlier because last time uh, it cut off. We ain't started yet. Get about we got about 10 minutes, so we get to talk to the YouTube people for a little bit. We so happy to have you. We happy that you're viewing, even if you're not on yet. We're going to talk about two great books on tonight. Gail Kasky, I think her name is, White Like Her, and Derek Jackson's Don't Forget Your Crown. So it's both books were good. I got a lot of good information out of them both. So if you just give us a little time, we're working some things out. We on more than one thing live, so you may not hear nothing for a minute, but that's okay. Glad that you're going to view on tonight. We have such a lively discussion. We have to go get our cups so we can do cups up. Let you know what's in our cups. We're gonna have to do that. So if you excuse us for a moment, we're gonna go one at a time and go get a cup so you'll have a face to look at on YouTube. I want to say welcome to Virtuous Divas Book Club. We do this every month on at 7:30 p.m. and we also discuss two fabulous books. You get to hear our opinions. You get to put your opinion about what we're talking about in the comments. You can go ahead. You can go hard. We got thick skin. It's all right. Somebody got to tell me that I'm offended. I'm not easily offended. So we're gonna let Elder Phyllis go get her cup and whatever she gonna put in her cup, and then when she comes back, then I'm going to go and I'm going to get my cup, uh, and then we're going to get started. I want you to know because of Derek Jackson's book, y'all know I really have a tiara. I got about two or three, but I went to the dollar store. Y'all know y'all go to the dollar store. Y'all shop at the dollar store, and I got my princess crown right here because we throwing a princess party. Y'all won't see that. Y'all just see our discussion on the books, but we throwing a princess party. So I have my princess crown. I'm not gonna forget my crown on tonight. Uh, I'm a little too old to be a princess, but they didn't have a queen crown, so I got to use princess uh, instead. I probably be will be repeating myself when we go Facebook Live, but I got it on. We gonna have a good time at the princess party. We glad that you are here, and we glad that YouTube is working for us. Cause last month it did not work. It cut off right. I think 5 minutes. It stopped recording. So we're glad that it's continuing to record. This was just for us to see if we could get it right. You know, we are not tech savvy, but we try. We work on it, and we're getting better at it in these live recordings. So just bear with us. In about a year, we probably have it down by that time. And then we won't be able to stand our own selves at that time and at that point. So she's gotten her cup, and when she sits down, I'm gonna let her talk to y'all about something, and I'm going to get my cup. My cup is gonna be real easy on this month because I can't have too much. I'm trying to lose weight, y'all. I'm trying to lose weight, and I want God to do some things for me. So I done cut back on a lot of stuff. All right, I'm going to get my cup, and I'll be right back.
Hello, good people out there. Good to see you. Welcome, welcome, welcome. We're looking forward to your comments. So get your conversation together. We are with you. We're for you. We need you to talk back to us. Whatever it is, whatever you want to say, whatever's on your heart. Come on, release it. It'll be good for you. It'll put a smile on your face. Might anger you. The books might anger you. Might put a smile on your face. Might be a little going back and forth as to what's what, but I guarantee you the conversation between you and I, all of us will be good. It will be good. And we're looking forward to hearing everybody. We're looking forward to reading your comments. I'm sure you have a lot pent up, a lot of things you want to say about a man, a lot of things you want to say about being white or acting white. But when we get into that, all that can come out. Don't be afraid. Don't be shy. So come on and join us. I have in my cup some V8 Splash. I could have had something else, but I decided VA Splash is good for today.
Go back on Facebook Live. Okay, we should be live. You should see it. Okay.
What do you have in your cups? Post me what you're drinking today. I'm sure it's good. I'm sure we'll all enjoy it. Did you get something cold? Did you get something hot? Or are you just relaxing and not doing anything? That's good too. But let us read your comments. We're looking forward to it. We set aside this day for discussion. We set aside this day to vent. We set aside this day to air whatever it is you have on your minds, on your hearts today. If you see my little crown looking right here, I feel like a little princess today. I feel like a princess. I sing for you, but my melody and harmony is not too good right there. I don't want to bless anybody too much, but we'll get that blessing when we make our comments about our books. Have you read them? Have you enjoyed them? I'm sure you're bubbling over with something to say. Are you out there? Let me see your comments.
You see it, Justin?
I have all these books. If you see all these books behind me, I haven't read them all. It just look like I'm reading. Since you've joined us, you like to read too. Post some genres of books that you like. Maybe that can be for next year. Or maybe we can swap something out if it's just that good. Something you want to share with us.
What is wrong with that?
We're having a little trouble with media, but all quirks work out. All quirks work out. Everybody relax, ready to go, ready to discuss the books. I am excited about these two books. Let me take a sip right here. That's really good. That's really good.
It's not showing though.
Hmm. We're trying to get some more media stuff together here.
See, there you are.
Yeah. We're trying to get some more media stuff. We don't have this worked out. But we won't have to do so much fuss. One and done. That's my mom. One and done. I wish you could see the decorations. Apostle has decorated the table so beautifully with princess items, crowns and blowers and little doodads, little heels, little diamond rings and necklaces. It's really cute. So do you feel like a princess or a queen today?
Queen.
Amen. Type in what you feel like today.
Bill got on. Did you see? Oh, okay.
No.
All right, we might gonna have to shut it off and
Reboot.
we'll be back on Facebook. Okay, YouTube though.
Oh, okay. All right, haven't gone anywhere. Just doing a little media adjustment. I'm still waiting for you to post what you're drinking. Have you joined us yet? I know it's the end of the day, but it's going to be a good discussion. It's going to rev you up, wake you up, and once it's over, then you can dive into whatever you want to do for yourself. This here is a very good conversation piece. Both books. Mm-mm-mm. What can I say? What more can I say? I'm so glad you decided to enjoy the reading and join us on today anyway. Y'all need some music in the background out there in media world. Really good. I'm sort of a quiet person, so to get me to talk, I'm really pulling myself out of my comfort zone. So if you have something to say, jump right in there. I'm a listening person, listening type of person. This one says low battery. Be right back. You got a new dance going on for real. Oh, you gonna close that? Okay. I'm telling you, Apostle has got the gadgets going on in here.
Okay, now we gotta see here.
You know,
I don't know what's going on with it. It say it's live. It is right here. I wonder why it won't open. I don't know. It's on. He got
it, let's start the conversation off with how's your day? What you do today? What are you doing now? Are you sitting back ready to get online with us on YouTube, Facebook? Think of the questions you're going to ask during this book club meeting. Don't have to be intense or deep. We can use some laughter. Laughter is good. Miss Bev, you on yet? Miss Carmen, you on yet? Elder Cynthia, you on yet? We're looking for you.
I can't see what you, I can't, it ain't putting it. This say this is live. We got a little technical difficulties going on. We're gonna see in just 1 second. I'm gonna see it. This is, see if we can get things going.
Going live tonight. This is right here, right?
Yeah, that's just a picture.
Mm-hmm.
come up like that in your.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. I don't know what's going on. We don't know what's going
So,
on.
we trying to fix it.
We trying to fix it. I really don't want to install this. Another thing.
Okay.
All right, let's see what it do on this. So I can check it. But we can begin the book discussion because we got it both live. The first book that we're going to talk about on tonight is called White Like Her, and this is about a woman, a Caucasian woman who believes she was Caucasian, um, only to find out that her mother was a black woman. Her mother had been passing for white, and it left her um, in a place of a little confusion. Um, I don't know. I'm sorry. My cups up is water with lemon. Water with lemon. Uh, Elder Phyllis, how did you like the book?
And when I first started listening to it, it was, uh, to me, it was like rambling. It was given a lot of information that um, it was history, but it was just uh, a slope of information. And the names that were given in the book, it was like speaking in tongues. The French names, it was so many, it's so many twists and turns in her family lineage. I was like, now who's related to who? Where is this going? Where does the bloodline end and begin? She had cousins she had no idea were French. It was the names to me fascinated me. A lineage of people. It was crazy. And the lady that revealed the information to her, she really didn't want to give it. But I believe whomever she was dealing with to get the information concerning her mother, a lot was left out. Like you asked me earlier, a lot of information was left out, and I believe that was to protect the mother, and actually to protect her husband as well.
Whose husband?
The mother's.
The author or the author's father?
Yes, yes, the author's father. I believe that was to protect him too, because she hid a lot from her family. Going back to slavery, they didn't know who belonged to who. That was the crazy thing.
They, it's on here, Phil. It's your. Um, I when I looked at the title, that's for y'all. When I looked at the title, that's how I felt about the book. As I began to read it, and she was talking about the racial diversity in her ancestry. Um, she called ancestry.com
Mm-hmm.
and began to do research uh, about her life and who she was. I believe her mother made a statement, and I think that set everything into motion. And when she confronted her mother, like, okay, so are you black? Her mother, yeah, I am, but don't tell anybody. And and just like maybe somebody who's adopted, when you believe that you are a particular type person, when you believe, okay, this is my natural family, and somebody tell you later on that you were adopted in the family, then you begin to sometimes who you are. What was my real family like? And so she had lived all her life in white privilege as a white woman. Her, you know, she was white because of her skin, because of her hair. Everything about her was white. And now here her mother calls her world to come tumbling down, and she finds out that her mother was black. Now, I need to say this: her mother, who in the 30s and the 40s, she began to pass as a white woman. And for those of us who are African American, and you know we are African American, sometimes that's hard to just really phantom and understand. Why would you want to pass for white? And I think I didn't really understand what her reasons were. Um, I turned the sound down, but if anybody did, you'll be able to see. I don't think I began to really understand her reason maybe until the end of the book. Now, I want to say it was a long, tedious read for me. I had to put it down for a little while, read, stop, put it down, because really she's just going over her genealogy. You never really get a story, so to speak. You get bits and pieces of her genealogy, who was who, what was what. But I just really couldn't get into the book. I don't know what, I can't honestly say what I expected, but it wasn't what I expected, if that makes sense. It was a long, tedious read. I believe I finished it because I knew we had to discuss it. And I didn't want to be here discussing a book that I hadn't read and didn't know anything about. But she just went along to just doing her genealogy. Now, what I guess, and I'm a different type of person. She said she confronted her mom. Her mom admitted it. She went and told her husband about it. Her husband made a joke. I think I laughed at that when he said, "I always wanted to do a black girl." Um, her son realized that's why he looked different from everybody else. He was looked a lot like his grandmother, with the olive skin and the black curly hair. Um, I just think she just really wanted to know who she was. And her mother was from a day when they didn't want to talk about something, they jumped to another subject. And we were just taught you don't be disrespectful. But if my mother is 70 and 80, my thought would be you don't have a whole lot of time to be here. So we need to stop acting like this don't exist. And we really need to talk about this. You need to tell me why you wanted to pass for being a white woman instead of who you are. Why, after all these years, and in college, why, after all these years, you decide to tell me that you were black? She talked about, in her childhood, she believed her mother was trying to, sort of hint at the fact that there were African Americans in her family, but she didn't pick up on it. And then she had the hindsight is 2020.
Right.
Okay, now I understand why you told me the story of the black woman walking on the sidewalk and taking up part of the sidewalk, and when a white man walked past, he thought she took up too much of the sidewalk, so he pushed her in the street and caused her to fall and drop her groceries. And it was nothing for them back in, y'all know, it was just getting out of slavery not too long prior to that. It was nothing for them to treat them as such. Her mom was from New Orleans, so she was in Louisiana. Need we say more about that? So it was nothing for them to be treated. So I guess for those of us who could never pass for white, I don't know. Her mom had feelings. She didn't want her friends to know. She didn't want she married a racist.
She did. She didn't want her babies, to make sure that her babies, she was even afraid to have babies because she thought the babies would reach back in the family and have the skin color that would reveal who she was or what she came
It
from.
had to be something to keep a secret
Hmm.
that long.
It was eating her up. It was eating her up.
I think after a certain amount of time, I just would have went on and said it. But that's me. I'm a whole kind of person. She didn't want her friends to know. She didn't want to lose. She didn't want to lose her white privilege or her
Hmm.
white status.
Yeah.
And so some of it was about her children wanting a better life for her children, and I get that. That's the part I get. Okay, I'm doing what I have to do. I gave up where I'm from. I really didn't have any contact with too many family
Hmm.
members. Only the ones who were passing for white,
Hmm.
like herself. So she gave up a lot so her children could have a better life. But at the same time, it didn't make her life better. And to know that you married a racist, when she married him knowing his family was this way. And I figured that out when she said when her fiance at the time, who became her husband,
Hmm.
said, "Go and stay with my parents
Hmm.
until I get come from the war, and then we'll get married." And she just saw how they were then, and realized, no, I can't make a mistake here and let somebody know this is not family, that I could
Hmm.
tell that I'm really black, but I'm passing
For white.
for white, because they not gonna have it. Cause she realized they were racist, and she realized how much her husband's family meant to him. But my thing is, okay, if you passing for white, I don't know if I could have just willingly married a racist. Now that's Tina talking, cause she's never had to experience it.
Hmm.
So I don't know if I could have did that. Now that's me. I'm already living with a secret, and now I have to be quiet when my husband say racist things. I have to be quiet and act like it's okay with me when my friends say racist
Hmm.
things. When they use the N word
Hmm. Have to.
around me, or the word colored around me, or say anything derogatory concerning my heritage, my culture.
Right.
I have to stay silent and act like this is all right with me. So
Hmm.
now, I was born in the late '60s. It's not all right with me. So I don't know if I could have done that. But I'm speaking from a whole nother era than where she was from. Wanting the white privilege, and to some degree she wanted it. To some degree she liked it. To some degree it benefited her,
Hmm.
and she allowed it to benefit
Hmm.
her. And I think that passed on to her daughter too.
Hmm.
Now I don't think the her daughter was racist, but anytime you can find out that you belong to a particular culture, and somebody is talking to you, and they're talking to you derogatory about the culture. How dare you? Now we in the '90s now. How dare you not say something? There's no way a white person could stand in front of me in 2019 and say something derogatory
Hmm.
about my people, and I just stand there and act like they didn't say it, or get that nervous
Hmm.
chuckle. No, we're not gonna have no nervous chuckle, and no, I'm not going to remain silent, because if I remain silent, what I tell you is it's okay for you to have that kind of
Understanding
conversation
what you're saying.
around me, whether I agree with it or not.
Hmm.
I'm giving you permission
Hmm.
to continue to have that kind of conversation around me, and I don't ever intend, not on purpose, to give anybody that kind of permission that you can have that conversation around me and
Hmm.
it would be okay. You better get yourself together, because I'm gonna open up my mouth. I'm not fully delivered. I speak in tongues with the best of them, and I pray and I give God glory, but I ain't fully delivered. I'm just saying, we all fall short. That would be
Hmm.
where I would fall. I would fall short. I just couldn't do that. And when she was in the library, and the librarian said, "There's a nigger in everybody's woodshed." Oh no, I would have corrected
yeah,
you.
right
I would have
there.
corrected you right there in the woodshed.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, we would have had a woodshed conversation. But she was so, because she was so used to white privilege and being white, and so now I'm not 100% European. Okay, what do I do with this? And I understand she was in shock, but I would only have been in shock for a minute. Anybody who know me know I'm sarcastic. I am quick on my feet. It would have been maybe a minute, be like, did she kind of minute, and then I would have let her have it with a smile. I really would have, but it was a long read. She went through her whole genealogy. She went down to her great grandparents on both sides. Her father's side, of course, they were German and white. But her mother's side, it was a mixture. And then she got all the way to the beginning, and it shocked her because the beginning, uh, her great grandmother wasn't even black. She was Native
And
American.
that's something.
She was Native American, and she said all of this began with a Native American, and they worked their way up to. She had the Native American in her blood. Of course, she had the European and the German in her blood, Creole slash French.
Right, yeah.
She had a little Spanish something going on in her blood, and then wait. Now this is what tickled me when they did the DNA breakdown. She was 7 to 8% African American. She was 89% European. How you get that out of that? You have Native American in you. You have African American. You got black in you. You have Spanish in you, and you have French in you, and the largest percentage of your
Yes.
DNA is European. Come on, they lying to you, and you lying to yourself, Gail. You lying to yourself. We look at just reading your book and reading the genealogy, they were just about black and black Haitian, because Creole come from Haiti. You black. You're not 89%. 89% when you have Spanish, black, in you, Native American. Come on now. Come on. Come on. You still trying to hold on to your white privilege. But I can read, and not only do I read well, I comprehend. I comprehend. And I don't know who gave you them figures, but either you lying or they were. Y'all in denial. I just need to say that. Y'all in denial.
Okay.
There's no way you can be 89%.
And the rest.
Come on, come
so
on.
They just trying to
Come on.
keep the claim.
I mean, you even with the German in you, you're not Lily White. So I laughed at that part, but it was just a long read. I tell you, it wouldn't be a book I would suggest unless you are really into genealogy. Now, if you into genealogy, this would be the book for you. If you into research, because that's basically what her book was. It was her research and the things that she found in her research, and to a degree, making excuses for her mother, making excuses for her mother passing, for black, she was making excuses. She had several opportunities to talk to her mother, but she just didn't. And my thing is, why you wait till she get dementia to want to have a conversation? I don't have dementia, but if you go too far back in my childhood, I'm not gonna remember. So I know somebody with dementia is gonna have a problem with remembering. So I wouldn't give it 2 thumbs up. I didn't like it. I didn't like the book. I just didn't. Like I said, I read it. I read it on the book club list. I didn't want to get on here for an hour and talk to you about a book that I had not actually read and want to discuss it. Now, if I had to find a part that I really liked in the book, it's when she found her great grandmother was a Native Indian, a Native American. I like that part. I will say this. I liked how her husband supported her. I like how he said, okay, so this is what it is. You've been my wife for over 20 something years. I married you because of who your personality, who you are. I didn't marry you. His skin color to him at this point, it wasn't a big deal. You've been my wife. You're going to be my wife. You're still Gail. You was Gail when I married you. You're Gail today. And if this is what came, the skeleton that came out of your closet, it's just the skeleton that came out of your closet.
Right.
And it wasn't like she had anything to do with those skeletons being in her
Right.
closet. It wasn't like she deceived her husband like her mother deceived her husband. Um, I really like how how he supported her, even in when he retired, doing some
Yeah.
research for her.
Yeah.
Even though he said,
Yeah.
"I'm only doing it 1 hour, and I'm not doing it every day." But he began to support her. What was the name of the show? I can't even think of the name of the show that they were on.
That's
The name, they went on a show about genealogy,
Mhm.
and she put her story out there. She told her mother she would keep her secret, but after mom
It's
was
on my
gone
tongue, but I
on,
can't talk.
after, excuse me y'all, it's called a hot flash. Wait. If I don't have my fan, but that's all right. I'm not even gonna go on over there. I'm just gonna wipe my face. But when after that she went on the show, she just exposed her mother's secret. Anybody who would care at this point was already dead. Her mother, her father. I really think they should have did the show when that booker was alive. All the stuff that they had going on, and they marriage. He was, yeah, he had, what is that, post traumatic syndrome. Um, her father had that, and he was an alcoholic. So he was verbally abusive, sometimes physically abusive. I think I just would have gave him something to just take him over the edge. But anyhow, that's me being honest. I, those were the parts that I like. What parts did you like?
I really like the parts where, in her finding out, especially when she first asked on the show that she was on, when she first asked the lady about her mother's background, and she really didn't want to reveal it, but she went on to talk about how everything got started, basically, and it was, to me, it was in the middle. Um, it was like, here's great great great, and it didn't start there like where it finished. It didn't start there. It started at, well, your mother was this and your mother was that. She had this cousin, she had that cousin. um, she came from, that fascinated me because it was so it was so much information.
Yeah, she gave a lot of
She
information
gave
on
a
the
lot of,
genealogy.
and I'm sure I could see her sitting there just like, uh, trying to absorb all of that. It's just the fact that she was just giving her just. Have you, if okay, for all those who are history buffs, when you sit in history class and it's dates being called off, it's important names being dropped, you absorbing all that. You trying to wrap your mind around all that. So that's what I was doing with this book. The whole book was just a slew of information. And ask me, do I remember any of it?
No.
Especially to remember.
No, because I don't.
Yes,
I don't.
and it was.
I can't remember all them
it was
names.
awesome.
I can't remember who was French. I can't remember who was German. I can't remember who was Hispanic.
It was.
Because she was like, "This is my first
Yeah.
great grandfather," and I'm like, "Your first? You only get one. You only get two, but we say great great. They say third great. Okay, so I said, and once I saw that, I said, okay, she's talking about this is her great great great. That's her third great grandparents on each side of her mother's parents. She was going down just doing the genealogy. I don't know. Once again, like I said, I didn't like it. It was a lot of information, but it wasn't anything that I was interested in. I just wasn't interested in the information. I really thought it was going to be a story and not a whole lot. I mean, it was a little. She told some little side stories,
But it wasn't enough to go on.
Yeah, it wasn't. No, it just no. It was more genealogy than anything and quiet as is kept. I really just didn't care about that. I wanted to know, get to the depth of why your mama uh, passed, wanted to pass for white. And once again, towards the end, I saw it. She wanted a better life for her children. She didn't want them to grow up, especially when you growing up in the 40s and the 50s. She didn't want them to grow up living that kind of life as a colored person, or just really light skinned. You still, they treated you a little better, but you were still black.
Yeah, they still didn't want you to have anything.
And you know what amazed me? That they could get away with changing their birth certificate.
And that's, yeah. Yeah.
From colored to mulatto to something else, and then she got a birth certificate that said white. How you change your birth certificate like that? Back then they did their records different. You could just and even with the census, in 1930, you color. In the census in 1935, you white.
Right.
Come on. But hey, I wasn't there. I didn't come along in 67. I came along during the time we was doing civil rights. Maybe that's why it's just in me. I just gotta be politically correct with me when it comes to talking about my people. I gotta think. I can talk about them, but you can't.
Mm-hmm.
Y'all know how we are.
We
can say certain things, but you can't. Right. And so that's that book. I want to get to the book that I enjoy. I want to say, Derrick Jackson wrote this book. Don't forget your crown, because self-love is everything. And I think in one of the books that we talked about, maybe one of the first book club meetings that we went live with, we talked about loving yourself. He gave some good advice. How did you like this book? Tell me what you got out of this book.
What I got out of this book is, first of all, he put himself out there.
You can't keep bending this as it's going.
Okay.
All right. I don't want to do that. Go ahead.
He put himself out there. He when he started the book off, he said exactly what he was about. He didn't care. He met a lady that he knew he liked, but he didn't care about her, and he showed her. He showed her what he said is what he did, and she went for it anyway. He gave he didn't hide any red flags.
That didn't come along towards the end of their relationship. He really started out liking her. He really felt she was different because he ended up marrying her. But he had some feelings for her. He knew it was something about her that was different from everybody else that he had dated. But what he didn't know how to do was to treat her right. That's what that was. Like many men and women. What they say, I want a good man, and then you get a good man and you don't know how to treat a good man because all you've ever experienced was a man who wasn't too much of what he said he was. What else you get out of it?
What I got out of the book is that he doesn't want the woman, regardless of what type of man she meets, he doesn't want her to lose her identity on what she goes through. Denia is her name? What's her name?
Something like that.
Okay.
Denial,
Okay.
something like that.
She lost herself she lost everything concerned what she was. She lost it based on how she felt for him. It made her lose track of who and what she was. So, in essence, what he wants us to understand is don't lose yourself in a man, especially a man that's no good or a woman that's no good. Don't lose your identity over that. Don't lose the love for yourself over that. Continue love is get out of the relationship. You didn't have to stay in that. She didn't have to stay in that. But because she thought she loved him, even with all the way he was, she was willing to work it out. I guess she thought the way she was would change him. Ladies, we can't change him, and it's rotten. If he rotten from the inside, he rotten on the outside.
But sometimes I don't think. Now you got some men who just rotten.
Yeah.
But you got some men that just don't know who they are.
Mm-hmm.
And if they don't know who they are, then they can't benefit you in any kind of way.
True.
If they don't know what they want for themselves. Then they can't help you find out what you
Right.
want
And
for
who didn't?
yourself. And I think when we're young, because I remember being young, when we're young, we do dumb stuff. When we're young, we're selfish. It's all about me, what I want, what my needs are. And your needs is just not that important to me. I think they both were young. I think they both had some things that they needed to learn. I think he realized he was toxic for her life because she she began to change. She began to come out of the person that she was, and she began to do things different. And for a lot of women, that happens to us. We sweet, we mild, and we meek, and a lot of times, sometimes people take that as a weakness, and so people start doing things to us. And then when we get irritable, when we get a little sassafras, when we start getting an attitude, then folks look at us like it's our fault. But if you're doing things to me to cause me to act out what my norm is, or who I am, you sort of got to take some responsibility for that. And I say to women, because I've been here, done that. Sometimes it's not a matter of I don't think you love me, or sometimes we love hard, and so when you love hard like that, it's hard sometimes to just come out of the relationship. And one of the things that he said was, we can't stay like that.
Right.
If a man is toxic to you, we got to stop making excuses for his toxicity. We got to come to terms like, he is toxic, and this toxic is not good for me, and we have to be willing to walk away. A lot of times a man does what he does is because we allow him to get away with it, and his first thought is, she ain't going nowhere.
There's a great communication breakdown. The communication with them was zilch. She would talk, but he wouldn't give any feedback. He wouldn't release or whatever was going on with him. You can't. It has to be, the communication has to be both ways.
It does. In any relationship, communication.
It does.
You got to know what your deal breakers are. I know what my deal breakers are. You call me on my name, that's a deal breaker. You threaten me. You don't even have to hit me. You threaten me. That's a deal breaker. Because if you threaten me, eventually you'll do it. I mean, just to stand above me, to be intimidating, that's a deal breaker for me. Women, we have to know our deal breakers. Of course, cheating is the first time. Now, when I was young and I was married, I was forgiven. But I'm 50. I'll be 52 this year. You flirt too much. You cheat on me the first time. It's a deal breaker. And mama gonna leave daddy right where he's standing. Yes, she will. Because if you do it once and I don't burn you, you'll do it again. Because you'll just assume she'll take you back. So no, I won't. I'm gonna turn. I'm gonna walk the other way. The last thing you gonna see of me is me walking away.
That's it.
And it ain't no sense in you calling, talking about, baby, can we work this out? No, you should have thought about working it out before you worked it out on somebody else.
Right. And I don't care to know who the person is.
Yeah, I don't need all that information.
I ain't interested. Right.
Because she is not the one with the commitment to me.
Exactly.
You are. So I don't need to know her name. I don't need to know her business. That ain't none of my business. You were my business, and you took my business somewhere else. So you don't need to be by yourself. You want to live like you single? I'm gonna help you be single.
That's right.
I'm unforgiving right there, and it is. So you have to know your deal breakers. You have to love you enough to say, listen, I want something healthy. I want a healthy relationship. I want somebody who will talk with me, laugh with me, grow with me, encourage me to grow, push me to grow, and I can encourage him to grow and push him to grow. I want a king who understands that I am definitely a queen. I don't want a pauper and put a crown on a clown. I don't want that. I want him to already be a king. He needs to already be sure of himself. He needs to know who he is. Yes, I need him to bring his deal breakers to the table. I'm bringing mine. So I need to hear what his deal breaker. I mean, he gave some real good advice. I saw myself in quite a few stages of my life. I saw myself young like him, trying to talk to a man who really don't want to talk, and that was because he didn't know who he was. He didn't know who he was. Let me say this: when a man has issues with his mama, he gonna have issues with you. If he does not have any kind of respect for his mother, most times he will not have any respect for women, and he won't respect you.
Right. Well, that's why he gave the example that he did. He gave the analogy of a really expensive car. That's the Lamborghini. He didn't know how to treat it, so
Yeah.
it broke down.
Drove it into the
It
ground.
drove it into the ground. And an expensive piece of machinery like that,
You got to drive delicately.
it's a delicate piece.
You can't even drive it all year round if you live in certain parts of the state of America. You don't bring a Lamborghini out in the winter. That's not a winter car. It's not even made to drive through the snow. It's not made for that. You just gotta know. And I think it just go back down to a basic fact. Treat people the way you want to be treated. Love people to be loved, but above all else, outside of God, love yourself. Love yourself first. When you can love on you, you will not settle. Jokers will come and you'll be waving at them like, no, I need you to keep going by. This is not the street you need to turn on, because I love me enough to know I don't want a joker, and I recognize I done had two jokers in my life. I done recognize what a joker look like now. So I need you to keep going, Joker. I'm looking for the king. I'm looking for the king of spades, king of clubs, king of hearts, king of diamonds. I'm looking for a king because I'm a queen. I know who I am. I know what I want. I know how I want a man to treat me, and I will not settle for anything less.
Exactly.
And the thing is, I'm not even going to argue with you about it.
No, and especially if I'm showing you, if I'm taking my time, I'm not going to sit down and run my life down to you because I want you to learn. I'm going to show you how to treat me. And if you can't do that, just keep it moving.
I was listening. His name is R.C. Blake, and he was doing this thing called Queenology, Queen Consciousness, and he said he had to teach his wife some things. He said, but he think he done created a monster. And so he says, when we're leaving the house, if it's not raining or cold outside, she goes to the car and she stands there and she waits for him to come out and open the door. When they get to where they're going, she sit in the car and she waits till he gets out of the car, come around and open the door. When they're going into a building, she stands back and she waits for him to open the door. Now, some people will see that as bougie and snooty. I see that as a queen.
Exactly.
There are some things I'm just entitled to because I'm a queen. And if you treat me like a queen, you best be believing I'm going to treat you like the king that you are. Yes, I am. If you bring in your A game, I'm going to try to be A+.
Yes.
I'm going to try to step that up because I want that kind of treatment. And then if a man can't give me what I'm worth, then he can't afford me. And if you can't afford me, there's no sense in talking to me. And I'm not even necessarily talking about afford me financially. I'm talking about afford me relationship wise, afford me mentally, afford me emotionally. If you emotionally jacked up, you can't afford me. If you are mentally jacked up, you can't afford me. If you see women a certain kind of way, then you can't afford me. You cannot afford me, and I cannot afford to deal with that.
This is not government city. I promise you, it's not government city.
So
No.
we have to know that we deserve better a lot of times than we have, and we do have to teach people how to treat us. I'm just not going to accept certain things at this point in my life. I got more years behind me than I have in front of me.
Yeah.
So I can't keep making the same mistakes
Right.
in my 50s that I made in my 20s. It's time to learn something. Women, if you in your 40s and you supporting a man, something is wrong. Something is wrong. If he can't open a car door for you, he get into the restaurant before you get into the restaurant. Something is wrong with that. If you in the restaurant and you pulling out your wallet, unless you treating him for his birthday, doing something nice for him, something is wrong with that. If he's smacking you around and then bringing you a cake 3 days later for your birthday, something wrong with that. Let somebody say something. Something is wrong with that. Something's
Okay,
wrong with
Sylvia
that.
and Matthew
Hi,
just
Sylvia. I just feel like this. We deserve much better sometime than what we allow. We deserve better than that.
Exactly.
And we show people how to treat us, men and relatives alike. And that comes from, and when he say, don't forget your crown, self-love is everything. When you begin to love you, you won't accept somebody not loving you. When you begin to take care of you mentally, take care of you emotionally, take care of you physically, take care of you, loving on you, then a lot of things we won't accept, a lot of things we won't go through, a lot of things we just will not deal with. And some of us are dealing with some things over and over and over. When he began to talk about the questions that people were sending, ladies were sending in his inbox and sending to his email, I was amazed. When he said the one woman was dating him to get back at her ex. What? What? And the ex was crazy. Look here, when he said he liked a woman at the store, but the ex came in. Now he don't want her, but he come in and he tearing up stuff because he done seen you talking with somebody. He got your friends watching you. He had your co-workers watching you and reporting back to him. What is wrong with you who reporting back? What's wrong with you?
Something going on too, yeah.
Yeah, that's a man who just got to be in control. He don't necessarily want you. He just wants to control you. That's not a healthy relationship.
Possessive. You don't want no possessive person. Listen, I've had a guy that was so possessive. He used to follow me to school. You get rid of, and everybody's not perfect. Nobody's perfect. But it's just certain things you should just not deal with. And we all come with issues. We all have something we have to get over, get through. As mentally, emotionally, whatever the case. But just make sure it's an issue that you are willing to address and get and let go of. You can't be one way and your partner be another way. That's not going to happen. You have to join. You have to. It's two lives being meshed together. Even if you never married, it's still a relationship, and you have to work out your differences. What you're going to take, what you're not going to take, what you're going to do. Everything should be discussed. Everything. You shouldn't leave nothing out.
And one of the things he said is that you should be leery when a person don't want to discuss it. When he really got an issue of telling you where he going or where he been.
Yes.
Why you got an issue about telling me? If it's innocent, why can't you tell me? Why can't you tell me? Be like, where you been all day? Why can't you tell me? Because quietness is kept. If you was insecure, you sure be asking me and expect an answer. So when you go to tripping when I ask the question, that's a red flag. Red flag. And we got to pay attention to those red flags. One of the things that he says is stop ignoring the red flags. Stop ignoring them. I'm telling you, this was a good book. I learned, so I saw myself. I just saw myself. I saw myself when I was young. I saw myself during my marriage. I saw myself. And I thank God that I'm not that self anymore.
That's done.
I thank God for that. I thank God that even in reading this book, I still learned some stuff. I'm not gonna say because I'm not all the way there, but I did learn some stuff. I gave him a good review on Goodreads and Amazon. I just really liked this book, and he was practical and sensible. He didn't judge nobody. He didn't judge the men. He didn't judge the women. He didn't judge the men for their craziness. He didn't judge the women for their craziness. Because sometimes some things are just taught to us. You know, like I've said before to some people, I've seen them always tell, you know, why you don't have no man? What's wrong with you? You don't have no man. You need a man. No, you need to get yourself together so when the right man comes, you'll be able to identify him.
Yeah, he addressed both issues.
Yeah, he did it from both sides. So can't nobody say he was women bashing or men bashing. He just gave straightforward, practical advice. He presented a particular situation so you could see it, and then he gave some advice. And it was real good. He put himself out there. He talked about himself. He talked about the mistakes that he made, and then what he needed to do to become a better person. And part of what we need to do to become a better person is we need to acknowledge that we need to be a better person. We need to acknowledge, hey, I got some issues. I'm insecure, and I need to work on this insecurity. What makes me insecure? What triggers that in me? I need to figure that out. A man don't need to come and figure it out for me. That's my responsibility. I need to give these things to God. I need to talk to God about this. I need to talk to God about my attitude. Why am I so mad? Why am I so bitter? Why do I come across this way? Because it's a reason for all of that. But I have to be honest with myself and say, okay, T, really? You really you know you need to get this together right here. This comes from this, and most times we know what it is, but we're not willing to face it. And for some of us, we don't want to change. We want to listen. We want folk to accept us for how we are, but we want them to change themselves so I can be comfortable with how I am. Right. But I need to change because how I am is toxic.
Right. We think people. In some instances, we make people responsible for our happiness. And that's not. And nobody's responsible for your happiness but you.
And that's the truth.
You're responsible for it.
That's right. Nobody comes. The Word of God tells us that Christ comes to complete us. He completes us. A man or a woman does not complete you. They can compliment you, but they cannot. They are not part of your. They cannot complete you. They're not supposed to. You're putting too much on them. I'm putting too much on a man to say it's your responsibility to make me happy. I need to be happy when he found me.
Right.
I need to be happy.
Right. You're gonna fall short because some days you just not in the mood to be happy. Bottom line, I don't care what happens, what's going on, and some days you're just not happy.
And that's the truth. So, and we all have some bad days. I have a bad day when I don't have coffee. It's a bad day.
Take her word for it, people.
It's a bad day. I need at least one cup. So if I don't have that one cup, it's not going to be a good day. It's not going to be a good day. But I don't look for people to make me happy on that day. I look for a cup of coffee. Bam, because I know what's making me unhappy. I'm just using it as it. I'm laughing, but I'm using it as an excuse. But we look for people to make us happy. We look to people to make us joyful and exuberant and all. You putting too much on the person. You putting too much on the person. Now I do want a man that notice. You all right?
Yeah.
You ain't had your cup. That's what it is. You ain't had your cup of coffee yet. I want him to know that about me.
Yeah.
You ain't. Have you had coffee today? And I go, no. And he go fix me some coffee. Here, baby, here you go.
See.
Cause we gonna make this all right.
Yeah.
And I want to be able to recognize when he's not having a good day. And be like, and what to do for him when he's not having a good day. Maybe he don't want to talk about it right then and there, and I shouldn't push it. But there's some other things that I could do until he's ready to talk. And so that comes from loving yourself, knowing yourself, being happy with yourself, doing things for yourself. A man don't always have to be involved, women. Take yourself to dinner. Buy yourself a diamond ring. Buy yourself a diamond bracelet.
Send you some flowers.
Yeah, but I don't want no flowers. Flowers die. Now that's me. Hey, but if you the flower lady, buy yourself some flowers. Right. They die to me. If I'm gonna spend $70 on some flowers, I'm gonna go get me a purse or something that I can.
Talk about the candy. Do something.
But do something for yourself. Love on you. Love on you. Somebody else saying something. Somebody
Mr. Nichelle Hines. Hey, y'all.
You just now getting on. You didn't even tell us that you done got to Cleveland. We're not talking to you.
Okay.
But love on you. Did you like? Nichelle, did you like the book? You know, my other co-host that she is in Cleveland, y'all. I'm telling where she at. She visiting her family. I didn't even expect her to get on. Did you like the book? Come on, Shell, tell us what you liked about it. Cause you're not here to really talk about it,
Right.
but you can type it on in. We're gonna give her a moment to type it on in. That's my other loud co-host. Y'all know the prophet. That's the one. That's the one there that she can about out talk me.
Okay.
We working on Elder
Uh-oh.
Phyllis. But she done talk more today than she done talked in a while. What she say?
Sorry, laugh out loud.
Okay, tell us how you feel about the book though. We talking about Derrick Jackson's book. Don't forget your crown. We got on our princess.
Crowns.
Now I got a tiara, but I wanted everybody to have the same one on. So I went to the dollar store and I got the princess. I got the princess tiara because I'm a queen. I'm a queen. It say princess. It really need to say queen. I am a queen.
Okay, so what did you love about the book, Nichelle?
Yeah.
What you love about
What
it?
did you love about it?
Okay, while she getting those thoughts together. But it's if more people were honest, and it's not just men, if more people were honest about how, why they act the way they do, why they treat people the way they do, it would be greater. Relationships would be greater because
She's
she's
still
saying how.
typing.
Mm-hmm. Relationship, I believe, would be different. They would be.
You know what? And as we both have to be, what she said.
Derek's book was good. He gave really good advice about women and men. Yeah, which was that.
Okay, what was your favorite part? I believe that it takes two in a relationship.
Mm-hmm.
So if a relationship is going to be good, it takes both of us
Mm-hmm.
to make it good. Now I was in a relationship that I was in a marriage. He wanted everything to be good, but he wasn't willing to work to get it good. He
Oh.
wanted me to do all the work.
Oh.
So that means I had to do all the changing. I had to do all the talking. But it takes two. Both parties have to be willing to work. She say something.
She said he spoke about himself and how he messed up. She could appreciate his honesty.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we could appreciate the
Mhm.
transparency.
Mm-hmm. He was
Yes, he was. He was very
very
transparent,
open.
and seeing some things from a man's point of view. Just sometimes we need to see something from a man. But it takes two. It takes two to make a good relationship. It takes two to make a good marriage. It just takes two. One person can't do it all, and they can't do it by themselves. And I was trying to do it by myself, and then I thought about this. I'm tired.
Yeah, you get tired of that way.
And it's a big weight. It's a big weight.
Mhm.
I just said I'm tired. Now he constantly telling me what changes need to be made, but you a whoremonger. You're not changing.
And see,
And as women, we got to come to that conclusion too. We have to come to that conclusion too.
mm-hmm.
Some men are not going to change. They're not going to change their way. They're not sorry for what they're doing.
Just
They're
say they
only
got
sorry
caught.
that they got caught.
Mm-hmm.
That's the only
They're
sorry they got.
caught.
Dad, she caught me.
Mm-hmm.
So I had to stop. I need to love me, and I need to put this joker back in the deck. And that's what I did. And when I say I turned around and all he saw was the back of me,
She says how he told women to stop giving it up so fast to make a man work for it. I always say a man can tell a woman about herself and vice versa.
and that's true. And a lot of times, and he said this too, and it's the truth. A lot of times we give it up because we don't want to lose them.
Mm-hmm.
But like he said, for those that's pressuring you, that's all they want from you.
Anyway,
But a man who really wants to get to know you, he not gonna mind waiting. Well, I want to tell you, he talked about a 90-day rule. Okay, I'm talking about till you put a ring on my finger.
okay.
So if it take you 90 days, ring on my finger. If it take you 2 years, it's overrated for me. So if you really trying to get to know me, then you'll respect where I'm at.
And not just that, ladies, listen to this. A man knows whether or not he wants you. And even if he does want you, if he's a certain type of man, especially those that have dealt with men that sleep around, he wants you and everybody else. So he's going to show you a certain something just to get you in the bed. And then he's going to go to the next one, show her a little something just to get her in the bed. So if you know who you're dealing with, you got to be honest of where you are. You got to be honest of who and what you're dealing with. Address the issue.
Michelle said, as a women, our work must be more than what we've gone through, and that's the truth. Desperation is not good, and it's not. And a lot of times we do sleep with them out of desperation. I don't wanna lose him. If I don't give him none, he gonna leave.
Well,
let him leave.
Right? Because
let him leave.
Go to the next woman anyway.
That's right. Let him leave. Let him go. I think I'm worth the wait. Whether it's 90 days, 6 months, or a year. It's all on you. Dr. Blake was saying in his Queenology the same thing that Derrick Jackson was saying. It's nothing wrong with, because if he wants you, then he'll do what's necessary to get to know you.
It's something to just be conquered. We're not trophies in that instance.
That's right.
But we can let him know that we are valuable. And once he gets that, he's not gonna want it.
My thing is, he should see it. He should see it. He's off the rip.
His value,
and if he can't respect your value, then he can't afford you. I'm top shelf. Some people can't reach up there, and some people can't afford to tell you pull me down. I'm top shelf. Y'all know, y'all used to go to the bar, top shelf, way up there. They wasn't serving, that wasn't down here where everybody could see. It was up top. Why? Because it was more expensive than what everything was down here. You need to know your value. And that's when you get to know yourself. That's when you begin to love on yourself. I put a post up the other day. Know your value and then add tax. Know your value. You can't expect him to respect a value if you don't even know your value.
You gotta know.
And mine is far above the price of rupees. That's expensive. That's what the Bible told me. I'm precious. I'm a precious gem. Far above the price of rubies. So I'm more expensive than rubies. Come on now. Okay, she didn't put nothing else. She just stopped. All right. So I just want to say I enjoyed his book. It made reading White Like Her better, because I would put that book down and go read Derrick Jackson.
That was fun.
I truly like Derrick Jackson's book. I'll probably get another one for next year's book club and put him right back on the book club list, because and I like his YouTube videos. Some of the things that he say, you got to watch some of them. They're excellent. I sent a lot of them to my daughter. I know she's sick of me, but I just hey, sometimes the things that I've said, sometimes maybe you just need to hear them from a man. Here it is, bam, this is what he's saying, and this is some good stuff. This ain't crazy stuff. This is good stuff. What she said? This is some good stuff. So I enjoyed his book. His book was a very, very good book. If you have not read it, we like to suggest that you go. Don't forget your crown. Self-love is everything, and self-love is everything. Ladies, don't forget your crown. Sometimes you gotta straighten it out. You gotta straighten it out, because it done got a little crooked. You just straighten it out there. Just straighten it, put it on, and let folk know what they dealing with. You a queen, and folk need to treat you like a queen. But at the same time, you got to carry yourself. Folk will treat you how you carry yourself. So put it on, straighten it out, get it on tight. Lift your head up, lift your chin up. Y'all know how they used to throw your shoulders back. Y'all know how they used to do in charm school. Get your back straight, and walk and act like the queen you are. Listen, you ain't got to fuss. You don't have to fight. If you know what you will and will not accept, you don't have to argue with anybody about it. And when you know who you are, I don't have to go into a debate with you about who I am. I know who I am. See, if I enter into the debate, I'm trying to figure out just like you trying to figure out. I had this man in my LinkedIn. He asked me, by what authority are you an apostle? He said, by what authority are you calling yourself an apostle?
Ooh.
I started to go there. I what first of all, I don't call myself anything. God called me. So you done asked the wrong question. But then God stopped me. He said, did I call you? I said, yes, you did. He said, you don't have to explain that to him. Because confirmation or affirmation is not coming from him. It's coming from me. I left it alone. That's all I needed to hear. I don't have to answer that. No, I do not. The proof is in the pudding of my holy lifestyle and the anointing that God has given me. But why would I argue with you about that?
He's got issues with women anyway. For him to even address that.
Mad, because I put an affirmation on